Every true crime nightmare starts the same way, with a night that feels painfully normal. It was one of those quiet American evenings where nothing feels off. No screams, no sirens, no warning signs. Just a calm neighborhood, dim porch lights, and the illusion that tomorrow would come like always. The house sat on a peaceful street, the kind of place where neighbors waved, dogs barked softly, and nobody locked their doors twice. From the outside, it looked safe, familiar, boring even. But inside that house, tension had been living rent-free for a long time. The family wasn't broken, not officially, but cracks were there. Unspoken arguments, cold silences, fake smiles at dinner. The kind of family that looked perfect to outsiders, but felt heavy once the door closed. The victim, someone everyone described as kind, normal, harmless, had routines. Same coffee mug, same couch spot, same nightly habits. Nothing about their life screamed danger. And that's what made what came next so disturbing. That night, time moved slowly. Phones were checked, TV murmured in the background. A few words were exchanged, nothing dramatic, nothing memorable. No one knew this was the last normal moment they'd ever share. Sometime later, exact minutes still debated, something snapped. No loud fight, no dramatic explosion, just a moment where control slipped and violence took over. When the crime happened, it wasn't random, it was personal, close, and deeply intentional. By the time the body was discovered, the scene told a silent story. There were no signs of forced entry, no broken windows, no masked stranger theory. This wasn't an outsider's crime. Police arrived fast, lights washing over the house in red and blue. Neighbors peeked through curtains, phones already recording whispers for tomorrow's gossip. But detectives weren't looking outward, they were looking inward. Because statistically, when a crime happens in a place like this, the truth is usually sitting right there. The family members were separated, questioned, observed. Everyone had a story, everyone had a version, and none of them matched perfectly. Small things started to stand out, a timeline that didn't add up, a reaction that felt rehearsed, a detail someone forgot to mention until it mattered. Grief filled the house, real grief, but mixed with something else, fear, suspicion, and guilt that hung in the air like smoke. Detectives knew this case wouldn't be solved by brute force. It would be solved by patience, by listening to what wasn't said, by watching who avoided eye contact when certain questions were asked. Because when a family tragedy turns criminal, the hardest part isn't finding evidence, it's figuring out who finally lost control. As the night ended, one truth became clear. This wasn't just a murder investigation. It was the beginning of a psychological war inside a family that would never be the same again. And the scariest part, the killer was still in the room. By sunrise, the house didn't feel like a home anymore. It felt like a crime scene pretending to be one. Yellow tape wrapped the property, squad cars lined the street, and inside, detectives began doing what they do best, pulling threads. The first rule of investigations like this: don't trust the silence, because silence always hides something. Each family member was interviewed separately. Same questions, different rooms, different tones. Police weren't just listening to answers, they were watching reactions. One person cried instantly, another stayed calm, too calm. Someone else couldn't stop talking, filling the room with unnecessary details. That's when investigators knew someone here was lying. They just didn't know who yet. The timeline became the first battlefield. One family member claimed they went to bed early. Another said they heard footsteps late at night. Someone swore they checked on the victim, but couldn't remember the time. Innocent people forget details. Liars forget which lie they told first. Detectives reconstructed the night minute by minute. Phones were checked, messages recovered. Deleted texts suddenly mattered more than spoken words. And then came the red flags. A phone that stopped recording activity at a suspicious hour. A location ping that didn't match the story told. A message sent, then erased, that shouldn't have existed at all. No forced entry meant one thing. The victim trusted the person who was there. That truth narrowed the suspect list fast, too fast. Tension inside the family interviews started to crack. Defensive answers, short tempers. One family member snapped back at a detective, a move lawyers always say never to do. Grief was real, but fear was louder. The medical examiner's report added more pressure. The injury pattern showed rage, not panic. This wasn't accidental. This wasn't self-defense. This was personal. As detectives dug deeper, they uncovered something the family never mentioned: a long history of quiet conflict. Money arguments, control issues, emotional pressure. Nothing explosive, just years of resentment piling up like dry wood. And all it takes is one spark. Neighbors were questioned next. One remembered hearing a noise but dismissed it. Another noticed lights on later than usual. A third recalled seeing someone pacing near a window. Small details, but together they started forming a picture. Meanwhile, the family started turning on each other. Whispers behind closed doors, side glances, subtle accusations disguised as concern. The house felt heavier with every hour. Detectives weren't rushing arrests. They didn't need to, because when guilt lives in close quarters, it eventually leaks out. And someone was already slipping. A story changed slightly, a detail added too late, an emotional reaction that didn't fit the moment. That's when investigators knew they were close. The killer wasn't hiding anymore. They were unraveling, and the next move would expose everything. By now, the case wasn't cold, it was boiling. Detectives had stopped asking what happened. They were focused on who finally cracked. One family member quietly moved to the top of the suspect list, not because of one big mistake, but because of 100 small ones. Their story still sounded clean, too clean. Every detail lined up perfectly, like it had been rehearsed. Real memories are messy, lies are polished. Investigators applied pressure, slow, controlled, relentless. No yelling, no threats, just long pauses and uncomfortable silence. And silence is dangerous to someone hiding guilt. They revisited old questions, slightly reworded. The answers didn't match last time. A time shifted, a phrase changed, a detail that was once unclear suddenly became certain. That's when the mask began to slip. Phone data delivered the next blow. A device showed movement when the suspect claimed they were asleep. Steps tracked, screen lit up, a moment of activity at the exact window the crime likely occurred. Confronted with this, the suspect hesitated, just half a second too long. That pause, that's where truth lives. The emotional tone shifted after that. Less confidence, more defensiveness, eyes darting, hands fidgeting. Meanwhile, investigators uncovered something darker, a pattern of control.
Friends and extended family described the suspect as protective, but protective slowly turned into possessive. Arguments that never became public, threats disguised as jokes. And then came the motive. Not money, not jealousy, not revenge. Control. The victim had been planning change, independence, distance, maybe even escape. And to someone obsessed with control, that feels like betrayal. Forensic evidence started lining up. Fibers where they shouldn't be, marks that matched an object from inside the house, injuries that proved the victim didn't see it coming. This wasn't chaos. This was intention. When detectives brought everything together, the room went quiet. The suspect was shown the timeline, the data, the contradictions. No yelling, no accusations, just facts. The suspect's breathing changed, their voice cracked, not with sadness, but frustration. That's when it happened, a slip of the tongue, one sentence containing a detail only the killer could know. The room froze. Detectives didn't react, they didn't need to, because the damage was done. The suspect realized it instantly. Eyes widened, words stumbled. They tried to backtrack, tried to explain, but the moment was gone. That was the break. The interrogation ended shortly after, not with handcuffs, yet, but with certainty. Outside the room, detectives exchanged looks. They didn't say it out loud. They didn't have to. They had their person. And now it was just a matter of making it official. But one final twist still waited ahead, one that would shock everyone watching. Because the truth wasn't just tragic, it was devastating.
The arrest didn't come with drama. No chase, no screaming, no resistance. Just a quiet knock and a pair of handcuffs closing around a life that was already over. When the suspect was officially charged, the house emptied fast. Family members scattered, not just physically, but emotionally. No one hugged. No one cried together. Because this wasn't just a murder case anymore. It was a betrayal carved into blood. In court, the suspect sat still, expression blank. No tears, no visible remorse. The prosecution laid it out clean and cold. The timeline, the digital trail, the slip-up that sealed everything. Jurors watched closely as the pieces locked together. What once felt like a tragic mystery now looked terrifyingly simple. Control, fear of losing it, and a moment where violence felt easier than letting go. The defense tried to humanize the suspect. Stress, pressure, emotional overload. But facts don't care about excuses. The forensic evidence spoke louder than words. So did the witness statements. So did the silence from the defendant. Silence that screamed guilt. When the verdict came back, the room held its breath. Guilty. No gasps. No shock, just the heavy acceptance of something everyone already knew. The victim's family stood to speak. Their words weren't angry, they were empty. They talked about birthdays that would never be celebrated, about messages left unread, about a future erased by one selfish decision. And then it was over. No justice could bring the victim back. No verdict could fix what was broken. The house was eventually sold. New people moved in. Fresh paint, new furniture. But locals say the place still feels off. Because some stories don't end when the case closes. They linger. This one became another warning in the true crime world. The danger doesn't always come from dark alleys or strangers. Sometimes, it lives at your dinner table. It sleeps down the hall.
It wears a familiar face. And the scariest part? Most people never see it coming.